Dave and I were headed to Hillsboro, North Dakota for the sugar beet harvest, a small town with a population of 1,600 in between Fargo and Grand Forks. What was meant to be a 2-week job ended up being 6 weeks due to the weather. When we arrived, the area had a dumping of 7 inches of rain. Little did we know we were about to experience the worst harvest on record. And of course, Dave and I were there to experience the worst harvest on record. I mean, come on. What would a sugar beet harvest be without a little adventure, right? Dave couldn't work when the sugar beet fields were soaked, so there was lots and lots of waiting time for the fields to dry. We explored the area, took the dogs to a dog park, and tried to keep ourselves as busy as we could, including seeing what an ice fishing trailer looked like. Wow, these are big. These are huge. I mean, we wouldn't need these for the kitchen. I wonder how much these are. Oh my gosh. These are like really nice, actually. I mean, it's like a little cabin. How do you open it?
Pretty slick for fishing, huh?
Man.
Ice fishing.
Just when we thought the weather was going to clear and the harvest would resume, a blizzard came. And we of course had a little fun with that too. Dave and I decided, probably from sheer boredom, to go walk around in the blizzard. Finally, because the farmers felt bad for the seasonal workers, they invited everyone out to the farm to see a behind-the-scenes operation. We got to climb on the tractors, see what the seeds looked like, hear about how the seeds were planted, and about how the weather had impacted the harvest. It was a really, really fascinating day.
Here we go on another amazing adventure. The first adventure we've had in a month. Because of the weather sucks. Oh yeah, this is the historical harvest of 2019.
And for what it was like to actually work the sugar beet harvest, I thought I'd let Dave explain it to you.
The beet harvest is an annual harvest of sugar beets grown in various parts of the U.S. and Canada. My job was to help run the beet piler. The piler is a large piece of machinery where dump trucks come from the beet fields, loaded with sugar beets, and dump them off. The dumping process takes less than 5 minutes per truck. From there, the beets are moved by conveyor belt up a large ramp. The ramp, called a boom, is moved back and forth across a large concrete pad, forming a mountain of sugar beets. The entire large machine moves backwards as the pile grows. Our pile was 26 feet tall, about 150 feet wide, and was several hundred feet long by the end of the harvest. The reason for piling them this way is cold storage for the winter. The piles freeze as the weather gets colder and colder. I helped keep the area where the trucks offloaded the beets clean. Also, I bagged and tagged sample bags of beets to be sent to labs for testing for sugar content, and I also ran the boom from time to time. The workday was split into 12-hour shifts. Day shift started at 7 a.m. and finished at 7 at night when the night shift would arrive. I worked the day shift. You worked in almost any weather condition. I worked in high winds, rain, hail, and snow. However, if there was lightning in the area, we were told to either stay inside the weigh station building or in our vehicles. Also, we didn't work if the temperature was too far below freezing. The beets would get ruined if they froze on their way from the fields to the piler. The work was not necessarily hard, but the days were long, and being outside on your feet all day, exposed to the harsh North Dakota elements, was physically draining. I look forward to a hot shower and a hot meal every evening when I got home to our RV. At the end of the harvest, I was happy to have had the experience, but I don't think I'd do it again. Eventually, the harvest was called off because of freezing temperatures. Frozen beets can spoil if they don't stay frozen and might ruin the entire pile. The best part of working the beet harvest was the people I worked with. Some of them will be lifelong friends.
6 weeks later, the sugar beets were harvested. Temperatures were dropping fast, and it was time to hit the road and head south before the weather got worse. There's nothing like a strong cup of joe in the morning. Dave, the pups, and I were more than ready to pack up and leave and get on the road. Just like North Dakota fashion, a storm was rolling in on the day of our departure. We needed some TLC and decided to stay in a hotel overnight so we could soak for a few hours in the hotel jacuzzi. It was the only time we ever stayed in a hotel on our 2 years of travel. We'd been in North Dakota for a little over 2 months. We tried beating the oncoming storm and said goodbye to North Dakota. As we headed south, we discovered our RV heater was broken. We experienced some of the coldest temperatures yet. We made the best of it, got bundled up, and headed for Wichita and then Arkansas. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on our next adventure.